Hello, Bisha. My name is Alex. I'm from Thailand. I have a question for you is about how to find my passion. So recently, I've been doing a lot of things that doesn't give me any motivation to keep on going, and I've been procrastinating for quite a long time because I couldn't find the things that give me the motivation. So my question for you is, how can I discover my passion to do things that makes me money and give me the motivation to keep on going? Thank you very much.
Well, clearly, this might require a back and forth to really dig deeply into this particular subject. But at the same time, we can say you are clearly passionate about procrastinating. So the idea is to find out what you're afraid will happen if you don't procrastinate. That would be simply based on a belief you have that something in your so-called future actions will actually cause you more pain, more difficulty, more suffering than simply holding back. So the idea is to get deeper into an investigation of your belief systems because, again, remember, all of you are motivated, absolutely motivated to do those things you believe serve you and to never do the things that don't serve you. So if you find that you're unable to move forward in the things you know could serve you, that must mean you have a belief system that says that moving forward would not serve you better than simply staying where you are. Once you find out why you're holding on to that belief, which, as I said, usually means you're afraid that something worse will happen if you do move forward, and you let that belief go as nonsensical because it's not a fact that that will happen, then you might start finding yourself more willing to act on things that are representative of your passion that can support you in a variety of ways, because you'll have reversed the motivational mechanism by no longer being afraid that moving forward will be worse than where you are.
Hello,
And good day to you.
and good day to you, sir.
Oh, sir, we are being formal today.
A word.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I have a question about intuition in communication.
Yes, speak up, please.
No problem. Is the action of intuition a communication that is happening of something of our higher selves, or is it something that's beyond us, like, say, a creator or a guide? In that process,
Well, it can be other things, but it always comes through your own higher mind so that your higher mind can deliver it to your physical mind in some way, shape, or form that allows you to experience the harmony between your physical and higher mind. So it can come from a spirit guide, it can come from other sources, but it will always pass through what's relevant for you in terms of the higher mind.
okay. So the second part I have of the question is there's an object that I've just come across that helps translate plants, and it's a box that allows it to go through musical notes.
All right.
And there's a musician who is playing with plants.
Yes.
And so in that process, it's translating the music, and it sounded like jazz,
Yes.
what the notes were creating. So is this a way for us to be able to use more in the future?
Yes.
And in that, same thing with musical instruments. As a musician, when I play, I can
Yes.
pick up a different instrument from different people. Am I more so connecting with the actual instrument's intelligence, or a higher being that's maybe in the instrument that was created, or an imprint of some?
Why is it always or? Why not and?
Well, that's the key question is when I'm communicating with the instrument,
Yes.
is it more of myself that's processing through the instrument, or am I connecting with something that's within the instrument itself?
Again, why is the question an or question instead of an and one? Yes, to both.
Okay, so my next, yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So when that's happening, as the musician's playing,
Yes.
are we also communicating through our guides
Yes.
and the instrument or the imprint of whatever the wood
As you are playing an instrument, the instrument is playing you. Yes.
And then the song being created in that moment, is that something what we could call a harmonic resonance?
Yes.
So our connection is essentially, it wouldn't happen without the two of us. But is there a third part in there too?
Always.
And what is that third part?
It is the simulacrum expression that makes sense in your reality. It's the interpretation that makes sense to you in the focus that you are creating in your consciousness. The expression that is germane and relevant for the reality and the way that you're experiencing it.
So essentially, the idea of a harmonic resonance is it's three parts.
Yes, you understand the idea of a Venn diagram in your reality?
A little
of
bit.
a vesica piscis?
Can you describe
the two circles that overlap to form a third area that is common to both of them?
That makes perfect sense. Yes.
That's its own reality. That's its own archetypal consciousness. That's its own expression too.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what's happening even in the channeling, because you're not speaking directly to the channel and you're not speaking directly to me. You're speaking to a third consciousness, a simulacrum, a simulation that is germane for the translation of our thoughts into something that you understand in your reality.
So in a sense, the communication, when you look at somebody and there's no words, but that feeling is that universal connection.
Yes, it's the reality you are co-creating with one another that you agree to communicate through as a third reality that is common to both of you, because each of you are creating your version of it in your own unique reality.
Thank you. That clarifies a lot of what I've been coming to, my own intuition.
All right. Because if you were to interact directly with us, you would find us to be very different than what you're experiencing now. Not that there aren't some similarities to our consciousness or our personality, but by interacting with us directly, we would be something very different than what you're experiencing here. This is a third consciousness, a third personality, a third identity that makes sense in your reality.
Thank you.
Yes. Have fun.
Thank you. That's all my questions.
All right. Well, we thank you for the co-creation. Good day.
Good day. Cheers.
Hi, Bashar. I'm Erin from Shepherdstown, West Virginia. I have a question about Sasani reproduction. I've heard most of the time when you talk about the creation of a new Sasani baby, you refer to having two parents forming an energy bubble between them, and a new baby is formed within that. But I have also heard you mention that it is possible for there to be more than two parents directly involved in the process of creating a baby with the energy bubble. I would like clarification on this, because most of the time I just hear you mentioning two. Can you confirm that sometimes there's more than two involved? And is that very common to have more than two parents involved in the creation of the energy bubble? Thank you.
Yes. And in a sense, yes, it's not uncommon. It's not necessarily always necessary, but it's not uncommon. It depends on what vibrational states are relevant to be there for the newborn, what it is they, as a spirit, have selected to absorb from different identities in the creation of their own. So yes, it can be more than two, and quite often it is.
Hey.
Good day.
Hello, everyone. Hello,
Good day,
Bashar.
good day, good day.
I'm Jason.
All right.
Transmitting from Sedona, Arizona.
All right.
I'm fascinated with Taurus energy. I would love to discuss the dynamic flow of our electromagnetic field as a Taurus and the heart generating that field and the anatomy and physiology. What does it look like? Is it flowing both counterclockwise and clockwise?
Yes.
And is it going up the spine and out the crown and back, circulating back down?
Well, that depends, but in describing the flow within the torus itself, it is going in more than one direction, and it is a woven sort of double spiral in the sense that it's flowing this way, and flowing this way, and flowing this way, and flowing this way. Does that make sense?
A double spiral, double figure eight.
Both directions, a double spiral in both directions. If you imagine that the torus is made out of thin lines around it, going around it and around it in one direction, then also have the lines go, shall we say, crossing it in the other direction, and then having the lines go in this direction and also crossing it in this direction. Does that make sense? Do you understand the illustration?
I think so. Okay. And in terms of the anatomy and physiology, I know you answered this before. We are a manifestation projection inside our soul, our physical body is. Can you give us the anatomy and physiology details of what our soul looks like outside our physical body?
Well, the soul itself, in a sense, is a particular expression or pattern of light, of electromagnetic energy that has many different kinds of radiating and outward and inward radiating patterns simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like if you imagine dropping a stone in a pond and seeing the ripples go outward, but then the ripples bouncing off the edge of the pond and going back toward the center. But imagine that happening simultaneously. And then imagine that in multiple dimensions, multiple directions.
Mm-hmm. Is the torus field nested? We have bigger and smaller torus fields nested within each other for multidimensional being?
When you say in each other, do you mean the physical persona, the higher mind, and the soul?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as far as our holographic bubble that we are creating,
Yes.
and can you talk about where the belief systems are stored in our morphogenetic fields and how that translates to our thoughts and emotions that are then stored into our cellular memory?
Well, the field itself is the storage mechanism. If you're talking about the idea of it being a holographic structure, then you will understand it. It's stored everywhere.
Within the bubble?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yes, in other words, you tap into whatever you're the vibration of, wherever you are, because everything is here and now. Therefore, what you're calling the morphogenic field is simply a projection of consciousness that makes it seem like it occupies space and time, but that's an illusion. It's all here and now. So, in a sense, holographically, you can tap into anything, anywhere, including belief systems.
Okay. I noticed we have an internal compass, and whenever I'm in my manifestation flow or my synchronicity flow, I will get a shot of bliss. My hair stands up on my arms, energy goes up my spine. Can you describe it so we can understand this better, internal compass? And
well, there are different ways to understand this concept of an internal compass. What you're describing is the vibrational version. In other words, you're sensitive to certain frequencies that when you align with them will create more of a superconductive or even a hyperconductive flow of energy through your neurological system because you are now synchronized and harmonized with the frequency that is closer to your essential core frequency. The idea of a physiological orientational compass within you is the product of the magnetite that exists in your sinus cavities that orients you to the magnetic field of the earth.
Okay. And I think I have one more question is, in terms of how the energy is flowing from the sun into the earth, is it coming in clockwise from the North Pole, counterclockwise out the South Pole?
Yes.
And the return.
Wait a minute. One moment. No, the opposite of what you said.
Counterclockwise from the north down, and then clockwise out the south?
Yes.
Okay.
Will that do?
Thank you for this opportunity. That was all I had.
All right. We thank you for the co-creation of the interaction. Good day.
Good day to you.
Hello, Bashar. Is there anything substantial about existence or the universe that you don't know? Do you still have questions? And you once mentioned that the universe is slightly positively charged. What is behind that charge? What causes it? And can it be called love? Thank you.
Love is the vibration of existence itself. The idea of the positive and negative charge and the slightly positive bend to existence is because of the third position of neutrality. The third position in the middle of positive and negative is neutral, and that is the balance point that still allows for the awareness that you are free to choose what you prefer. The very ability to be free to choose what you prefer, if you want to put it in these terms, is slightly positive. That's why it's bent slightly in the positive direction. But of course there are things we don't know. So, like you, we don't know what we don't know until we discover something new that we didn't know. So of course there are still questions. Discovery, exploration, never ends as far as we can tell. There's no such thing as an ending to it. So of course there are things we don't know because there are things that are not relevant for us to know. And there are things we don't know that would be relevant for us to know that we will discover in the process of exploration of ourselves and existence. But unconditional love itself is the frequency. It's your translation of the frequency of existence itself. It's unconditional. It allows you to create whatever you prefer, whatever you believe is true at any given moment, positive, negative, and neutral.